Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another Conversations with Kate. This is State Representative Kate Lipper-Garabedian, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by members of the Wakefield Alliance Against Violence. We have 3 board members with us today. I'm so glad to see you all here in person. So we have Jean Yentile, the president of WAVE for the last 2 years, Joey Garish, secretary of WAVE, and Officer Amy Rando from the Wakefield Police Department. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
It's so nice to join you. I know we get to meet monthly. I often join remotely, so it's always a pleasure to see you in person. And it was really lovely to see you just last month in the 5th year ceremony of the White Ribbon Day here in Melrose. It was lovely to have Melrose Alliance Against Violence and Wakefield Alliance Against Violence here together with the police chiefs and city and town leadership to sort of commit to continuing to practice nonviolence and support men standing up and being counted as allies and taking pledges to, never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women and girls. So I'd love to have a little bit of time to hear from each of you about your sort of professional backgrounds and what led you to serve on WAVE. So do you want to kick things off, Amy?
Absolutely. I've been with the Wakefield Police Department for 12 years, and I was appointed as the Family Service Officer about 7 years ago, which is also when I joined WAVE. I'm also a past president of WAVE, and I enjoy serving on WAVE. It kind of goes along with my role as Family Services, where I work with victims of domestic violence, individuals struggling with substance use, homelessness, and a few other things as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand with what I do at work, and then also being a part of this group that helps me serve victims in town. So
absolutely. When I first became a state representative and I met with Police Chief Scory and sort of better understood the department, I was really impressed immediately with how much you're out in the community, making connections, partnerships, thinking about things through a full holistic lens of mental health when it comes to prevention and response. So it's not surprising to see you at all of these meetings, and your voice is so important, and I've really appreciated learning from you.
Oh, thank you. I am actually, you mentioned mental health, and I am one of the we have 12 to 15 officers who are crisis intervention trained. So we go out with our clinician, and she often comes with us on calls, and that includes some of our domestic violence calls as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then, Joey and Jean, it's wonderful that you both help run our monthly meetings, the board meetings. I come in as a member at large with the rest of the legislative delegation. Either of you want to just share a little bit about your work in WAVE or in Wakefield?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I became involved with Wakefield Alliance Against Violence through steps. Very close friends of mine in 1980s was working with the Citizen Scholarship Foundation. And at that point, somebody brought up the fact that we needed mentors. And so Bob and Mary Eldridge stepped forth and said they would follow through with this, which made the WAM,
okay.
W-A-M, Wakefield Adult Mentors. My goodness gracious, Wakefield Adult Mentors, which was a group of people that would spend 15 minutes a week with a student in the high school. Okay. And so we work with that. And then from that, we got to Wakefield, from Wakefield Adult Mentoring, WAVE became involved with this group. Again, starting at Citizen Scholarship Foundation, then Wakefield Adult Mentoring, then WAVE, Wakefield Alliance Against Violence. And in doing that, my meeting and engaging with people in the community and trying to get help for people, resources, building those resources, doing those programs, and trying to engage other people to join us as we do this. And it's very successful. We're always looking for new members.
Right. Well, it's really neat to hear about all of your volunteer trajectory.
Yep.
One of the things that we talked about in my most recent community conversation back in January was sort of lifelong learning and civic engagement,
Yes.
and how it's never too late to start with something where you can make a difference.
Yeah.
It's so important for your community, and it's also really good for you personally to make those connections and relationships.
I think one of the focuses that we really are working on is trying to bring more young blood, young family members who are struggling with some of the things that we are seeing in our community. And then you stop and think, and you say, well, these parents are so busy with their children, but we need to somehow bring in some younger blood that are
Right.
experiencing it.
That's a good point. And I also noticed you all have been great about thinking about other connections as well.
Yes.
Just recently you reached out to the Melrose Alliance Against Violence.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for your, proactive lens on that, because it's just the case that you learn from each other, you collaborate. The, domestic violence, sexual violence doesn't have geographical barriers, right?
Right.
So it's, these are things that we can work on together. And thank you both for all three of you for your leadership in that space. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to give people who are listening a chance to hear about some of the programming and community events that you've led on in the past and are continuing to work on now, both in terms of just thinking about the resources you offer if someone that they know or they themselves are looking for help, and also for ways to be involved, because you all are doing great work. So Amy, we want to share a little bit about some of the things that WAVE has been working on?
Yeah, absolutely. Most recently this month, as you mentioned, White Ribbon Campaign, we had a banner flying across Main Street in Wakefield. In the past, we have done in-person events, which unfortunately we haven't done the last 2 years, which is why it was so nice that we were able to attend Maves here. But we have had from our press release in the Wakefield Daily Item, information that we've been putting daily on our Facebook page. We have actually had people reach out and email us, how can I take the pledge? And we've let them know, through Jane Doe Inc.'s website, this is how you can take the pledge. This is, exactly what the wording is. So that's wonderful that people have still been getting involved,
Absolutely.
even though we couldn't do an in-person event. We do want to collaborate further with MAVE. Mm-hmm. They have Men for MAVE, which involves, a lot more of the, males in the community. And then they also do have a kind of a youth action team as well. So we are looking to have some more influence in the schools, have students kind of become more a part of what we're doing. This past month, or in February, we did have Respond Inc., which is the domestic violence agency that serves Wakefield and some of the communities, Melrose and the surrounding area. And so we did partner up with them to have them put advocates in the schools in some of the health classes.
That's great.
Where they were able to discuss, healthy versus unhealthy relationships and
Yes.
teen dating violence. So that was a great partnership that we had. And, we didn't have to fund it this year. Respond was able to actually do that, and we did
Got
not
it.
have to pay for any of it. But in the past, when they haven't had the funding, we've funded them to come into the schools.
Right. I've noticed that at the different meetings, it's really lovely to hear about how you're looking for ways to either collaborate or lead on funding for something like that. And there's a lot of attention that you all put on the schools, which completely makes sense. As a former teacher
Mm-hmm.
and a mother of young boys, it's all about prevention and, setting, kids on a good, healthy path to adulthood. So it makes sense that we would lean in there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then some other programs that we've done. So Yellow Dress is a program that we do usually with the junior class before prom. Unfortunately, we just heard that Deanna's Theater, who had put it on for us in the past,
Okay.
is no longer going to be having programming going forward. So we are going to look for something to replace that. But that was a really powerful program. It was a one-woman play, so to speak, where she's just speaking from the youth in the auditorium. She's talking about how she's so excited to go to prom. What dress can I wear? And then as the story goes on, you come to find out that she's telling her story from beyond the grave, and that she had lost her life before prom, and that she didn't get the help that she needed before then. So it's I get goosebumps just mentioning
course.
that, and that was such a great, it's a very serious topic to have in the schools, but one that still, I think, is appropriate for someone that age, because violence can start in a relationship, verbal or emotional, very young,
Absolutely.
unfortunately. So that was a great program that we had, and we are looking for something to replace that going forward. The other things that we have done for the community, we've had RAD classes before in the past. When the police department hasn't had the funding, WAVE has funded that program so that we can have it available to the community.
Tell me what RAD class stands for.
Oh, sure. So it's Rape, Aggression, Defense.
Got it.
Basic women's self-defense training.
Excellent.
So that is a course that has 9 hours of, you have a first night of some classroom time.
Mm-hmm.
The next 2 evenings are where we are actually teaching the women in class, moves of self-defense, if they were to be attacked. And then also the final night, they put those moves to use, where they really realize their power that they have, which is it's wonderful to watch their transition from night one, where they might be a little timid. I don't know if I could actually hit somebody. And by the end of it, they're ready to go leave class and beat someone up, which we advise them not to do.
Sure. But there is a level of personal empowerment in all of that.
Absolutely.
I also recall that you've brought forward, with all the privacy and confidentiality appropriate, opportunities for WAVE to use its, funding to support individuals who may be looking to leave a relationship or have left one but are finding themselves on, precarious financial footing. And it's, and WAVE steps forward to support those survivors.
Absolutely. So I am I want to say myself and Molly from Respond are the two individuals who offer direct services. WAVE, the group itself, is a resource to link survivors and people who are living with violence to other resources, and then we do offer some direct services. So when I do come across individuals in town who are needing help and support, it might be a lock change because there's a safety concern if someone's going to be getting bailed out that evening and they still have a key, and we don't have a right to ask for someone's key away from their home. So it can be a lock change. It can be in the form of help with bills. If the perpetrator in the relationship is not going to be present, or someone got a restraining order and they go, well, we're not going to be paying you money, and to figure that kind of thing out in probate court takes some time, we'll step in and offer financial assistance to that person to help pay bills for the time being. WAVE has also gotten groceries. Yep. WAVE has also gotten when there hasn't been shelter immediately available, or it's an hour and a half away for someone. WAVE has even helped with getting hotel rooms for individuals when we haven't been able to find other support for somebody. So they've done a lot for me in my role.
Absolutely.
And for Respond as well. If Respond doesn't have the funding to help something out, we approach WAVE about it, and they've been great. So
that's lovely. So if someone wanted to explore that and needed help, what are the best ways for that person to contact? Do they contact you, or where can they find more information and read up on this?
So they could absolutely contact me at the police department. If someone wants to contact WAVE directly, they could go to our website, which is, I could do a plug-in,
yes,
www.waveonline.org.
Perfect.
And they can go to our website, and there's a contact form. There's also a tab of various resources. I'm listed there. Molly from Respond. We have A-Task. We have Sahili, our Deaf Sisters Survivors group. So, if there's different component in the relationship, there might be a different group that's most appropriate for that person. So there's just a whole list of resources on there as well.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll do a plug that on my website at kateforrep.com, and the COVID-19 link, there are a series of resources that we've created over the last couple of years. And one is on personal well-being. And within that resource, there are various programs, hotlines, et cetera. And WAVE is mentioned there as well for people who are struggling with domestic violence or sexual assault.
Awesome.
So people can look in both of these places online to get more information. So I'd love to also just turn, as a policymaker at the state level, and of course I know that town councilors come to your board meetings as well. Are there things that you'd want us to be thinking about as we consider laws or local ordinances or regulations? Who needs to be at the table when we're considering ways to continue to support families and healthy relationships? Take your time. He'll edit it out if you want.
Okay, I'm Jean Yentl, president of WAVE, and it was established July 9th, 2007, and I became involved in 2018. I joined WAVE due to personal reasons. I am deeply committed in protecting women from domestic abuse, verbal, emotional, and physical. It is my mission. I'm on a journey in hopes to make changes. Excuse me. An update. Excuse me.
Take your time.
To make changes to the outdated laws that are in place.
That's great.
Governor Baker is making that change. I hope that during his time in office, major changes will be in place. He also realizes the changes needed to be made in the approach to behavioral health. Mental health is huge. And it's so emotional for me to see him actually crying at a roundtable for domestic violence, listening to their stories. It's very powerful. And unless you are involved in this, you have no idea the road I'm on.
Thank you so much, Jean. You're really taking the pain of a personal situation and putting it into real purpose and making a difference for so many people, and your leadership in WAVE is so evident over the last couple of years. I mean, the meetings that I attend are so robust. You've had such foresight to invite guests to come who are involved and related, and I really appreciate, you can't see it if you're listening, but Jean has a lot of different resources and news articles that she's printed out. She's clearly following policymaking, and I'm grateful for you to raise up the importance of behavioral health and mental health in all of this. It's really at the center of so much. And you're right, our laws do need to continue to be updated to identify the ways in which people can face abuse and violence and threats. And so I'm very hopeful that you'll see some real activity on that at the state level this session. So thank you for all that you're doing.
You're welcome.
So anything else we'd want to mention? I think we've talked about where people can find resources and how to reach out to us. You've encouraged, we heard just from Joey, encouraging people to join WAVE at the meetings or to be involved in some of the activities that are going on. I think communication and meetings with Melrose Alliance Against Violence will continue to expand the possibilities of the programming you offer as well. And one thing that's coming up, I know one of your annual fundraisers will be in the fall. That's in October. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that so they maybe can keep it in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our annual fundraising race. It is the only fundraiser that we really hold, but we do it in October because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This year, we do have it scheduled. It is going to be on October 1st, and we do meet at the Lakeside Inn in Wakefield, 595 North Avenue. If you want to sign up day of the race, you can show up at 7:30, and race kickoff time is at 9 o'clock. It's always a really fun time. We have a very good time. A very good time with the race, and I'm usually there with the bullhorn, belting out everyone to take off and giving a spiel. But yeah, it's a very serious topic. It's not fun. We'll post something on our Facebook page, and I can see the reach is going very far out, being an administrator on the page, but we only get a few likes here and there because it's a difficult topic for people. It's not a fun topic. It touches way more people than the community realizes, unfortunately, or people do realize it, but we kind of turn the eye. So we make it a fun day. It's a light day at the race.
Sure.
It's for a great cause, and it benefits everyone's friends and neighbors in the community. So we hope people will come out and join us in October.
That's an easy date to remember, October 1st. And maybe we'll end with, so we know that Amy will be on the bullhorn. Yes. What about Jean and Joey? Are you going to be walking, running, cheering? What's your plan?
Well, I just had total knee replacement, so I won't be doing my running, but I will be doing my walking.
Perfect.
And we'll be there very early in the morning, setting up and cheering people on and encouraging people to have fun.
Good.
Yep.
And I will be walking it with my family.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you all there and, of course, seeing you throughout the year. Thank you so much for the resources that you're bringing to individuals in the community, to our students, to sort of set them on a healthy pathway, and just the civic engagement leadership. It's really important. So I'm so glad to be learning from you and working with you. Thanks, everyone, for listening for a Conversations with Kate podcast. I've been here with the Wakefield Alliance Against Violence. Be well.